Hey, welcome back to another video. My name is Jesse, and I help business owners apply spiritual teachings to their business ventures. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why I started this channel and where the inspiration even came from. So literally, this is like the first video of this channel, and the reason this is the first video is because I'm feeling very inspired right now because I just finished a meditation from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and the meditation was the heart coherence meditation. And what that did for me was it made me realize that for a long time I was trying to create my business reality from a place of fear and anxiety and feeling scared. And I have to go briefly into what the Joe Dispenza method is and a little bit into some metaphysics, because that's actually what I believe is true, is that entrepreneurialism is a spiritual journey. I've always kind of felt like that way, but I'm starting to understand more and more about where that cross-section actually happens. And I'm going to try to explain to you what that means in this video to me. So if you've felt stuck in your business for a long time, or stuck in whatever project that you're working on right now, and you just don't know how to get out of it, and you don't know if you are feeling this way because you are, depressed, or you're not talented enough, or you feel like it should be going a different way or something, then I think this video is for you. And so the basic method is that you want to always be creating from emotions of positivity. And so the Joe Dispenza method asks you to concentrate on your heart center and be present with that, and concentrate on what that feels like, and then call up a positive emotion to that and use that to expand outwards, and that becomes your primary energy that you kind of are exuding. And if this all sounds crazy to you, there's actually 3 reasons why it makes sense. And I'm going to get into that later, but what I want to get into first is this feeling of stuckness that you might be having. And so when we're entrepreneurs, what we tend to do is we tend to compare ourselves to other people. We tend to be envious of other people's success, or envious of how they seem to have figured it out, or that it comes easy to them. One of my favorite examples is Elon Musk. I mean, the stuff that he's been able to manifest is incredible. And not that you need to be manifesting his level, but you can. What you need to understand about when you see an entrepreneur that you respect, or even a person that you respect that's in your career field, and you want to be at their level, and they're such masters of what they do, and you think, man, I wish I could be that, and I want that level of success, and I want that level of acceptance and competency. What we tend to do is we tend to try to copy that person. We tend to look at what they do, read their biography, maybe buy an online course that they have, or for me, what I do is I go to their website and I try to deconstruct what their offering is, right? And then I sign up for their email list and I try to deconstruct what emails they're sending out, and what Facebook ads and what text messages, whatever they're using. I try to funnel hack, or hack into the back end of their business, not literally, but figuratively. Find out what, reverse engineer what they're doing and try to copy it. And in some ways that works, and I've learned a lot by doing that way. And I think that that's an important part of your tool set, is to understand what your competitors are doing, first of all. But you also need to understand that you will not get there to the same level that they're at by following exactly what they do. You can't cheat your way to the top. You can't cheat your way into their level of success and abundance. And that's the actual lesson here. That's the lesson that I learned today, that is manifesting and making me want to make this channel, which is a totally new and crazy idea. This is not something I even planned to do until today, until I did this meditation. It was so powerful. And so what I want you to know is that any of the blockages that you're feeling can be overcome, and they can be overcome through meditation, and they can be overcome through a certain type of meditation that I'll show you in other videos. And I will also show you how to apply the law of attraction, and why it's not crazy to employ that as part of your tool set. I want you to feel comfortable with the idea that there is a way for you to apply these seemingly woo-woo science metaphysical things to an actual business venture. And that's what I'm trying to help you understand, is that this is as much of a lesson in universal energy as a lesson in personal development, and how to really think about what success means to you. And so I want to address why people that might feel like this is crazy, people that might think this is not for me, or spiritual woo-woo crap that won't work for them. And what I want you to know is that this is actually it really is based on science, and people may not be seeing the cross-section like I do, like I have. And here's my mind what the cross-section is. Joe Dispenza and his method, and others like him. John Assaraf is a similar one. Even Tony Robbins teaches similar things like this. And they have actually 3 things in common that are based in science. And every single one of these methods uses these 3 things, and they're like I said, they're all backed up by science. And so the 3 things are this: something called neuroplasticity, which is the ability for your brain to create new neurological connections. Something about the idea that consciousness is actually something outside of us that we're tuning into, not something that is coming from inside of us. That's an important, a very, very important thing to remember, is that all of these are based on. And the third thing is that you can reprogram, that you have a subconscious mind that has automatic thoughts that happen without your control. Some people call them ants, automatic negative thoughts. And these are thoughts that are things that are from your childhood, from your programming, from your teachers, from your professors, from whoever in your life that implanted these things onto you. These things exist in your subconscious. And these are really the 3 things that blockages, not knowing how to use these 3 things is where blockages come from. And right now I'm dealing with a huge block in my life, and I've realized exactly how to fix it. And I'm going to be going through that in this channel and sharing my journey with you. But so the reason that it's not crazy to think that there's a consciousness, that consciousness is something that is outside of us that we're simply tuning into. There's actually there's a speech by Graham Hancock on TED that talks about how that we're more of like an antenna, rather than maybe let's say a flashlight or a screen projector that's projecting out consciousness from the inside. We're more like a TV antenna that is receiving consciousness from the outside world. And there's an entire interview by Joe Dispenza where he goes on the School of Greatness podcast with Lewis Howes. He describes all this. I'll provide a link in the description. It's an incredible interview, and the way he describes it is that consciousness is being received by the brain, and the brain is operating off of these autopilot thoughts, these subconscious thoughts. And it's like the connections in your brain are firing in an incoherent way because the stress responses that are going through your mind at the time, because of these automatic negative thoughts, make it so that you can't really have a stream of an efficient and effective flow of consciousness. And so it's much harder it's hard to explain in just a brief description. So I encourage you to watch that interview and understand how this works deeper. But the reason why it's not crazy that consciousness comes from the outside is because we actually have 5 examples of how consciousness comes from the outside and directs our inner idea of what reality is. And those are our 5 senses. Okay, we have feeling, we have hearing, we have seeing, and we have taste, and we have smell. Okay, so take light, seeing, observing photons. Right, these are light is an electromagnetic wave, and we have cells in our body that have been developed to take in that information and convert it into some sort of usable format for our brains. And we also know that we see less than 1/1,000,000th of visible light, of actual light. Visible light is 1/1,000,000th, or something incredibly small number of the actual electromagnetic light waves that are out there. We know that there's X-rays and ultraviolet rays and all the different entire spectrum of light rays that are out there. We know that we only see a very, very small percentage of it. Okay, another example is hearing. We know that we only hear from 2,000 hertz or 200 hertz to 20,000 hertz, something like that, right? So, but there's, an infinite number of hertz and different sound waves that we can't even hear. And we know that dogs have a better smell than we do, right? We know that, you know, I'm guessing certain animals have better taste than we do, right? So our five senses are not even, they're not even processing 99.9% of the universe. And so why is it so crazy to think that, you know, we have a sixth sense, the intuition, the gut feeling sense? That sense that we all know, that we all kind of have a weird, we meet a new person, we have a weird feeling about them. That's your intuition, that's your sixth sense. It's a thing, there's a name for it. It's a sixth sense, it really does exist, and you know it's true, it does exist. You have a feeling that you get from people and from situations. Maybe you will get out of a, you know, Uber in a bad neighborhood, you feel that, right? So why is it so crazy to believe that just like our eyesight and our smell and our hearing and our taste are only seeing a small percentage of what's reality, why is it so hard to believe that our sixth sense is also not seeing the entire picture? Consider that. I think it's a valid point, and it makes a lot of sense. Now, the second thing I mentioned was neuroplasticity, and how we know that the mind can create new pathways, it can learn new things late into adulthood. You can heal from neurological damage by taking advantage of neurogenesis, and it's science-backed that our brains are not these hardwired computers with a software program running on top of them. They're actually a more difficult to explain model. The words that we use to describe our brain are not actually accurate to how it really works, but what we do know is that it is possible to reprogram your brain and heal from neurological damage and from the damage that negative thoughts do to your body. And it is true that negative thoughts do those things to your body. And so if you believe in the science that proves that neuroplasticity is a thing, and that you can use neuroplasticity and neuro-linguistic programming and meditation and visualization and mindfulness and conscious mindfulness to change the way your brain fires on itself, then you should be able to believe that you can change the way that these spiritual teachers are telling us, right? So if the idea is that consciousness is outside of us, and it's being received by a brain that's firing inefficiently because it's got full of negative thoughts, and you believe in neuroplasticity, then you should also believe that we can change the way our brain fires with the way we receive our consciousness, and then expand it outwards and utilize it as a tool. And the third thing I mentioned that is science-backed that I believe proves that this stuff is possible is this idea of your subconscious mind and the programmed thoughts that it has, right? So I mentioned ants, automatic negative thoughts. We know, we've all experienced this. If you've dealt with anxiety like I have, and self-doubt and criticism and ruminating thoughts and living in the past and being regretful, all of those things are because of ants, because of the subconscious programming that we've told ourselves, whether it be from some sort of childhood trauma or some sort of adult trauma or some sort of learned behavior from our parents or from a negative person in our life that has told us how to think in these certain situations. And if you believe in meditation and the ability to step back and observe your thoughts, which is what meditation is supposed to be able to observe your thoughts and then realize those thoughts are not serving me. Those thoughts are actually based out of fear and hypervigilance, and they don't really represent reality, because it's just me being anxious and me making up scenarios of a future that doesn't even happen yet. If you have anxiety, what you're worried about is something that doesn't exist yet. Someone told me once that anxiety is praying for something bad to happen. Because if you think about it, all you're doing is thinking about what's going to go wrong. And guess what? If you think about all that's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. If you believe in law of attraction. But you don't even have to believe in law of attraction to believe any of this stuff. If you believe those three things are possible, neuroplasticity, the ability to reprogram our subconscious mind, and the idea that consciousness may be something that comes from the outside, if you're willing to believe those three things, then you should be willing to believe that these things work. And all it takes is doing it yourself. Don't listen to me. Do this do what I'm telling you to do in this channel, and do the work of personal development and manifesting your reality and getting over the blocks and accepting that this universal, these spiritual teachings that we hear, this law of attraction stuff, it does work. And if you're brushing it off, it's because you may not understand how it really is supposed to work. And that's what I want to hash out in this channel. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you feel like this is something that you want to explore, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing as many videos as I possibly can on this topic, and I'm going to share with you my personal journey, and I want to hear what you're struggling with right now in your life and in your consciousness and in your struggle as an entrepreneur, and we can talk about ways to get that. This is a totally new idea. We hear a lot about law of attraction. It's so broad that we feel like we brush it off because you can use it for anything. I'm using it specifically for business. How do we use meditation to get a promotion in our jobs? Or how do we use meditation to manifest more money and more revenue in our business? How do we use meditation and these principles to come up with a new marketing plan for 2019 or 2020 or 2021 or whenever it is you're watching this? How do we use those ideas and use it in a way that actually delivers results? That's not just you praying in a room or sitting in a room meditating and trying to manifest something without doing any actual work. That's not what this is about. This is about how to employ these powerful tools and the self-development practices that we know work from people like Joe Dispenza. This stuff works. So follow this. Follow me. My name is Jesse Ploutz. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I'm a marketing expert, digital marketing expert. And I can help you with the stuckness that you're feeling, because I feel it. I feel it literally right now. But I feel myself getting over it, and that's what I'm trying to document here. So please subscribe, please comment, please like, and please share this video. And also stay tuned for more. I'm going to be doing as many as I possibly can. So thanks so much.